third valve, then I'm going to do the valve casing. I'm going to start backwards, 3, 2, and then 1. And then I'm going to flip it, do the exact opposite on the other side, so 3, 2, and 1. Sometimes there will be a lot of gunk just down here on the bottom side of it, just because that's where your horn, that's just where it's supposed to catch all the gunk in it. So you can also take your rag and just wipe out there as well. So that right there, and then you also want to take your snake and feed it through your main bore, and then again pull it out, and then I rinse these tips off just because it starts to get some gunk on it, and then I do it again, slide it all the way through and pull it out, and rinse it out again, and then I do this one. This one can't be pushed all the way through, so I just push it until I can't push it anymore, then just pull it out, push it again, and pull it out. So it'll be, it'll only be that length. It'll stop about right there, and then you can rinse it out if you want to. And then the last piece that we're gonna want to do is we're gonna want to go down to the bell, and this is gonna go down there, and it's gonna stop down here. So take your snake again, and just gently push it down the bell. And then check to see if it's not out of there yet. So I'm going to keep pushing. It will kind of get tough just because this wire is, it doesn't, it bends since it's thin. So you may have to, keep trying. You may not get all the way to the end, which is okay. But you just want to try to get as much stuff out as you can. I'm going to go ahead and use the other side now. And I'm going to feed it through it again. So on this one it looks like that's about as much as I'm going to be getting, which is fine. And then just try to rinse it out when moving it around in the tub. And that right there is how to clean it in the bathtub. So next we can take out all of our tools we used. And I'm going to set them right over there. Then the next thing that you'll want to do is take your towel, and as you take stuff out, dry it as you take it out. That way no watermarks get dried on them. Make sure you dry as much of it as you can. What I like to do is I like to cover one side with one hole and blow through it while I release the spit valve, just so then that way I can get any water out. And then I flip it and I do the exact opposite on the other one. And anything that has a valve like that, I will do that with. And this doesn't really matter what order you do it in. Again, this one has it, so cover one hole. all of the water out as much as possible. For the ones that don't, just try to shake it so it comes out, but be careful not to let it slip, and cause that can cause damage to it. Can blow through some of them, but then the only thing is with the smaller pieces, it'll blow right back at you, so you don't have to do that. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll just shake it like this until I get all of it off, or as much as I can off. I typically do the horn part last, just because that way I can spend the most time with that. I'm just going to the tub, getting every single piece out that I can. Just drying them. And then you can use the tip of the horner if you want to try to get some more of it out. And the last thing that I have after my mouthpiece is my horn. Just make sure there'll be a lot of hidden places that water can hide. So I just go back and forth with it just a little bit. I didn't shake much of it off. What I will do with the horn is I typically will start at the bell, just because that's what people mainly see, and I will dry that off very first. And then it also makes it easier because then you can put that down on your lap. You can dry off the other part of the bell, roll up it, and dry off the valve casings and the slides. On the other side of the valve casings, just trying to get it all dry. You will notice on every single horn that there's different spots that need a little bit more attention to get polished than others, and that's normal. Every horn is built a little bit differently, so everyone has their different hidden spots. They will have a lot of similarities, but some of them will have more than others. Just depends on how the horn is built. And that is how to dry your horn. The next thing that we will be wanting to do is putting your horn back together. So let me move these so I can sit down here. So the first thing that I will be doing is I will be putting all the slides on. That way when you put the slides on, that way you don't have to worry about pushing them down. If you don't push them down, it can ruin the seal in there, because this right here obviously is airtight. It fits it perfectly, and it can ruin that. Anyway, so let's go on. We will be using our valve oil. Our slide oil. This one that I have is just the one that you apply with your finger. So just get it on your finger. Rub on there. I typically oil one at a time, so then that way I can get it in, make sure it's all oiled. And this right here is why I have the second rag. So I can wipe all the excess oil off. Having a little bit of excess oil is okay. That means that your horn is getting oiled okay. And again, get another little bit on your finger. On the valve. And then again, do it one at a time. And wipe the excess oil off. And then put it together. And then sometimes there will be a little bit more oil that comes off. And then we will do the valve. So I will start with the first valve. This one has part of it on the actual horn itself and some up there. I'm going to start with the one on the actual horn. Get a little bit. You don't need as much as you do for the slides. Just get a little bit. This one is a little bit harder because there's all the horn pieces in the way. But just try to, do your best to get it on. That's why I like to do one, then the next, and then I can twist it and make sure the oil gets everywhere. And you can also hit it and you can wipe it off with the piece itself. Sometimes that'll work, sometimes it won't work. Just depends on